Do come in and take your seats. We're expecting a few other people, as you can see, but that's the nature of the Landcare Mort, the family, is that we have flexibility. You know, it's an appreciation that you are here, and every single one of you, the work that you do across the whole state. It's recognising that every single person that is here because of how deeply they care about this wonderful land that we are all custodians of. So, welcome to today. We are about reimagining and restoring Western Australia. In a world that has raised even more challenges for us, it's really important for us to come together, to recognise that we are working hard, that we are making a positive difference. And what else would we want to do in our lives except work hard together and make a difference? So welcome today to Reimagining and Restoring Western Australia, stage however many years that you've all been working, and we're looking forward to the next stage and really feeling inspired to carry on our good works. I'd particularly like to acknowledge the wonderful country that we are on today. And isn't it a great venue? And we've got the Mayor here who'll be talking in a little bit, and it's great to let Margaret know just how fabulous this is, and thanks to the City of Kalamunda for creating this space that we can all enjoy. So really it's about that acknowledgement to this country and to all of the elders in the past and the present, and we'll be hearing from Uncle Neville very shortly, and all of the emerging, and we've got some of the emerging First Nation people. It's recognising the efforts that you put in and that long history of connection to this country and custodianship. So recognising that and this puja that we are all custodians of together. So we would like to now bring Uncle Neville here because this is the most appropriate time, right at the start, for us to recognise that long history of the first land carers and coast carers.
Thanks, Louise. Once again, it's a pleasure to come up here, and I reckon COVID did a good job in giving money for us to build this, didn't they, mate? If we hadn't got COVID, we mightn't have got the new building. But it's an excellent place to come now. Only problem is it's a bit cold this morning. And I live down Freo and I was walking around with a t-shirt. Come up the hills, it's 10 degrees colder. But I've been there and I've bagged the tree already, Louise. I've bagged the native hibiscus over there. It'll come back to Freo with me, I think. So, great to see you all here. And some of the Gosnells might be here too, from Mary Carroll. And some of the mob from City of Swan. And I did a walk up there the other day, just telling Amy and Charles that, and I found a beautiful scarred tree up there. And I've only seen one other, was in Albany on the Calvin River. It's a hand and foot hole where they've put the holes in the tree. And they can walk. There most probably was a possum or birds to get access to it, but now it's there for everyone to see, but a lot of people don't know what it's about. I told the City of Swan that when we did the walk, they got to register that site and do something and put a little plaque there because people understand what the old culture is. And I know some beautiful places, you know, Mary Carroll, West Stephen. Can't go by without mentioning Susanna Brook, can we? Mick? We got it. Oh, okay, so he's organised for us to go up there. So we go back, it's a beautiful place. We want to make Susanna Brook a drop-in place in the hills, don't we?
Sure do.
Because he's got rid of all the rubbish that's there now, the trees and all that. And we can replant all the new ones. So I reckon, wherever there's a gap, put put a tree in there. And if anyone says anything, say the Noongar said we can do it. I'll never forget my old pop, old Tom Bennell. His Noongar name was Yellowkitch. And that meant man of good hearing and listening, because he was the minder of Noongar stories. And as a young boy growing up around the Boyden Valley and Boyden Rock and going out working with me 2 sets of grandparents, all my uncles and my pops, and clearing the land, I always said the last job we did out at Thornton Park on Colin Young's farm, we cleared 107 acres. He always said to me, Neville, he said, when you get older, you're going to be coming back putting trees in where we've cleared it. So for the last, I think it's since about 2004, me and Charles's pop and my uncle, and the brothers, we all been out to Marvel Lock, Golden Pig, Hercules, all up around Southern Cross, replanting all the trees, seeding all the seeds, and it's good because some of the trees now, they're that high. And in one area, we actually gave them 1 spoonful of water. That's all they need to get going. 1 spoonful of water. And Marvel Lock and all Golden Pig and Hercules, they're all sort of saline-y, got a bit of a salty area. But all those trees, we give them 1 spoonful of water. And for 500 acres, where we watered them, they all grew. And it's beautiful. And I reckon that anyone want to grow a tree in a gap or in a patch, grow it. Because, where's Ingrid? Is she here? We've got the boys from the NRA. Ingrid's not here. So Wanda, she's always around and she's always supportive. Hello, Nick. She snuck in, Mick. She just snuck in there. So, fantastic to come along today, Louise, and do the welcome. Narelle. And all the guys from down south here. We've got some good country in the metro area, haven't we? We got some good country. And you can see why the Noongars were happy not to be discovered and just to live in this great land here in the southwest, in the great southern. And they were just happy to live here in the rock age, hunting the roos and whatever we needed for food. And that's why we were happy living here, because I reckon we lived in the best part of the nation and the best part of the world. And every day I wake up I think, gee, I didn't want to be anything else but a Noongar, living in Perth and Freo and going to Roto and all around, coming up to Kalamunda. And I think we live in a great country. To the Mayor, morning. Shane, morning. Any other politicians here? The EO? There, look, I knew I'd find her somewhere. And to everyone who's come along, kaya, kaya, kaya. The true Noongar welcome. The Wanju word, we've been telling people that it's not a Noongar word, so therefore don't offend us and don't use it. So now it's being changed in a lot of schools. And even the Noongar Language Centre has taken it upon themselves to change that word and to go back to the kaya. So kaya, nganjurupan at nunakan kuri nicha da kalamanda, where kura Noongars dat nyin, and where they kulling on the Janabidi through the Kalamunda Janabidi, down to the Beerloo, down to the Derbil Yarragon, down to Yanji Kep, down to Jinjin, Joondalup, Moro, Manjuri, Benjarup, down to Walyulup, over to Kalkanini, where Ngalamurt, Kura Balapan Kuru, and where they Jinnung the Budja and the Kepi and the Marion. And as Balapan Kuru, Balapan Wanging. And Buddha Wanda Wajala's calling, and the Nyunga and the Wajala, Balapan Mar Baranging at Waljalap, they Jinnung, and they Wanging. And the Nyunga calling with the Wajala, down to the Wardandy, down towards Meandip. And they calling out to Kalamanda and Balapan Wanging. What I said was, welcome to you all, in the true words of the Nyunga that occurred down at Fremantle when the white fellows arrived 190 odd years ago. And the Nyungas knew they were coming because they turned south when they came in through the passage, and the Parmelia immediately run aground, didn't it? So they had to wait for 3 or 4 days to refloat it and come back to Freo. And then the Nyungas were waiting, and when they came ashore there, they helped them ashore. Then the Nyungas took them up the river for a walk and showed them the land and showed them where to get water and food. And then the sailors wanted to go back down to Woodman's Point because they had to check out Parmelia's bank, because that's what they named it after, the Parmelia ran aground. And they went down and they investigated that, and the Nyungas were telling them and talking to them about all Derbil Nara, which is Coburn Sound. And the first mistake they made was setting up the first camp at Peeltown or Thomastown down at Wattleup. And they put all the early settlers in there and the early arrivals, and then they were starting to fall over like flies because it was a terrible place. There's no water, there's sand flies, sandy blight, everything that made them crook. So then they put a contingent of people to Stirling, and he moved them from there up to Guildford Bridge to where Fisherman's Market is. And so that was where they took them after they first settled them there. But there's an interesting history we got, and now it's good to come along and do a welcome like Kalamunda, because everyone knows the story of Kalamunda now, don't they, Margaret? Mick? Nick? And how Kalamunda got its name. And we've got a new centenary that I've been fortunate enough to come to on several occasions, and I think we can only go forward from here. So before I go, I'd like to do a blessing. Kaya, kaya ngan murit wiran wa, ngan wanging nunada, to kulin nicha, wanging balap, kulin with balap, and jinang balap, as they kulin into the Buddha on the Nunga Buddha. I ask for the good spirit to come, walk with yous, talk with yous, and look after yous as you travel into the future on the Nunga land. Kaya. Buddha one. Buddha means see you later. Okay? So you learn 2 words, Kaya and Buddha. Hello and see you later. Thanks, Bob.
It always just feels so deepening to have you here, Uncle Nev, and to feel blessed. And it's just that deeper connection to place just enriches all of our lives. So thank you very much for making your time, which you always do to land care because it's so deeply embedded in what you care about. There's a couple of things I need to do to make sure that you are happy and safe today before I take next steps. My name's Louise Duxbury, for those of you who don't know me. I have been until recently the Executive Officer for the WA LAN Care Network, but I have stepped down from that role and have been ably, my place has been taken by Jacqueline Lan, that is just over there. Thanks, Jacqueline, and she's just fabulous. I'm so excited. I'm not going very far. I work with Green Skills, and I'm hoping to continue representing WA as part of the board of the National LAN Care Network, and I'm very keen to do that. So hopefully I get that role and I'm able to represent you on a national level. Housekeeping, if you haven't found them, yes, the
venue does have toilets, and they're just in the corridor over there. You go out the back, go to your left and go left again. Hopefully you've already got your mobile phones on off or silent so that you don't embarrass yourself. If there is an emergency, follow one of our team. You can see the team because we've got sporting these brand new t-shirts, never worn before. And the appointed muster site is the far side of the car park. Can all of the WALN committee and staff just pop up your hands just so that you know who they are? There's quite a few of us. Awesome. So as said, our theme for this year is, and for today, is Reimagine and Restore WA. It's about recognising that we do have a lot of resource, and I think each one of us, in our own ways, exemplifies that, because that's why you're here. You've actually identified things that you can do, and you want to get on with them. Collectively, that's how we're going to make the biggest impact. So today really is about all of you, and it's awesome to have people like members of Parliament like you, Shane, coming along, and we know your deep commitment to land care, and thank you for that, because at the different spheres, there's local government. Who works for local government here? And who is doing coastal work? And who is in volunteer capacities in coastal land care? Who's in paid positions in doing some form of land care? Who's in state government? So who's in federal? Anyone from the federal sphere? I'm hoping to be there. I'll put my hand half up. And Keith Bradby, is he in the room? Yes. Well, he's currently representing WA on the National Land Care Network Board. So we've got a whole range of different people trying to make impact in their own patch, and I think in multiple layers. And that's what today is about, is reimagining how we can do that together even more effectively with greater impact, and the time for doing that is now. So one of the reasons why we have also adopted this particular theme is because we believe that we can do more together. And our program today, we are starting with some reflections from outside of Australia. It's from Regreening Africa. So they're thinking really big, and I've already had a preview of that talk, and I think there's some really great lessons that we can take from the scale of change that they are envisaging, that we can actually take some lessons from. And they are reflecting back on lessons that they've taken from land care in Australia. And that's how they started, and now we're going to be getting some of the lessons right back, boomeranged back, which is terrific. We're going to be hearing from a lot of the local friends groups, so that's really honouring where we are sitting and the whole Hills area, so I'm really excited about that. We will have the WA Land Care Network AGM, and after lunch we've got 3 really fantastic presentations on our theme, in a panel, and then with a Q&A panel, which will be great. And at the end of the day, at 4:15, we'll be having the opportunity to have a guided walk in Jorgensen Park right here. So we're going to be then asking people to meet at 4:15 in the foyer. And there it is, all up there. I think that's all of the housekeeping. One last piece of housekeeping: as I drove up the Kalamunda Road hill today, that there is a big sign that says after 8 o'clock tonight, that road is going to be closed. They are doing major repairs on the Kalamunda Hills, so make sure that you have identified your alternate route down the hills before you want to leave in the dark tonight. So I thought that was worth noting, and I'll certainly mention it again tonight for the celebrators. It's now my great pleasure to introduce Councillor Margaret Thomas, who's the Mayor for the City of Kalamunda. And the City of Kalamunda has generously provided sponsorship with a subsidy for this venue and with assistance during our event planning phase. Over to you, Margaret.
Thank you, Louise.
I'll just take mine off so that they don't take up all of the space and drop all over the floor.
Good morning, everyone. I would also like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land we are meeting on. Thank Uncle Nev for his wonderful welcome to country. And Uncle Nev taught me this. Kaya kaya birdies, mama nyoks kulanka, nuna damot, nichikulan nalamaya, kalamunda butcha, nanjurapan, wajulas kulan, jina, nuna danicha, nunga butcha, nunga birdies kura, yayi. Birda birda, kadala, borda, kaya, yunga. Hello, welcome to our leaders, men, women, family members who have come to our place today. And I'm happy to see you standing on Noongar land of their leaders, past, present and future. I would also like to acknowledge Member for Moore, Mr Shane Love, and the Deputy Mayor of Kalamunda, Brooke O'Donnell. Thank you for coming. And thank you for inviting me to this wonderful event to reimagine and restore WA. The program looks jam-packed, and I'm sure it will be insightful. I would also like to take a moment to acknowledge all of you, the Landcare volunteers and supporters, for the work you do to deliver positive environmental and community outcomes week in, week out. Thank you, Uncle Nev. We are blessed here in the City of Kalamunda to have so many amazing volunteers. Volunteer warriors working as friends groups in our many bush reserves. We as a council in Kalamunda are very passionate and committed to having a positive impact on the biodiversity protection and enhancement of our local environment. We have more than 2,445 hectares of local natural areas. And this year, we had more than 2,000 volunteer hours invested in our natural areas, with more than 79,000 seedlings planted, along with a significant amount of clean-up weed removal, pest, disease control, and more. And that's just in our local government. Across the sector, there is so much work being done by people like you. I can't be with you tonight for the awards, but I would like a moment to recognise all of the finalists and nominees. It's wonderful to celebrate the impressive achievements of our local land care community, and I look forward to hearing more about the award-winning projects. Each of you here today bring hope that we can work together for the betterment of the environment, always learning and focused on change for the better. From protection to conservation to enhancement to restoration, I thank you on behalf of the community for your passion and ongoing commitment to making our natural world more resilient. Thank you and have a great day.
Thanks, Margaret. I know. Thanks, Margaret. It's wonderful to have local government and the local government representatives like you who are so passionate about land care and who really show that by coming to these events and your thoughtfulness. Thank you really very much for that.